Liz from Night Owl Crafts Australia, and this is my able assistant Tosh. Today we're going to be looking at making soap. Years ago, in your great-grandmother's day, they used to routinely make soap at home. And we're going to be looking at hot process as well as cold process soap making. In years gone by, women used to get the ash from hardwood logs that had been burnt and mix it with water and get lye from it to make into soap. Lye is otherwise known as caustic soda and is a very caustic material, so you do have to be a little bit respectful of it to prevent injuries. I'm not sure who came up with the brilliant idea of combining lye and oils to make soap, or whether it was a happy accident. But we will look at how this combines and what the processes are into making your own soap at home. To make your own homemade soap, you're going to need a number of items. Firstly, your oils, and for this particular batch I'm using a mixture of coconut and olive oil. Coconut oil provides a nice froth to these soap bars, but used on its own can be fairly drying to the skin. Olive oil, on the other hand, doesn't produce much froth, but is much softer and nicer on the skin. So combining the two, you get a happy medium. You will also need water. Distilled or demineralized water is the best. And caustic soda or lye. You will also need some sort of fragrance to add to your soap. You will also need some sort of mould to put the soap into when it's finished, either individual moulds like this or a loaf mould such as this one. Making soap, you need very specific amounts of the ingredients. It's not something to guesstimate. Online, you'll be able to find calculators which will tell you how much lye you will need for a given amount of oils. So in this particular case, we're using 1,250 grams of oil. We're using 475 mils of water, and we are using 208 grams of lye. Again, you can go online to convert these to grams and ounces if you prefer. And the fragrance, we're using 39 grams of fragrance. You can also superfat the mixture, and that means that you are adding in extra fats or oils that won't be converted by the lye into soap, so it will just give a much more rich texture to the soap. In this particular case, we're not superfatting it. The fragrance I'm using today is a combination of lemon verbena and champagne fragrance, not made from real champagne. If you're going on to do hot process soap, you will also need either a slow cooker such as this or a crock pot. Your great-grandmothers would have just used a cauldron over fire. So at this point we will transfer the oils into the slow cooker so that they can melt down to a fully liquid form. The olive oil already comes in a liquid form, but at room temperature, coconut oil is a solid. So we'll put the oils into the slow cooker to begin melting down. Just trying not to splash them. And scraping out all the little bits, having measured carefully. You don't want to then lose part of your oil by not scraping all of it in. So this can now be left until all the solid bits of the coconut oil are melted away. Now you need to make sure that when you buy your coconut oil that it is coconut oil and not coconut milk or coconut cream. It has to be the solid oil. We'll come back to this once it's all fully melted away. This should take about 10 or 15 minutes if you've got the slow cooker set on high. Now that we've got our oils on warming up, we need to make our lye solution. For this, you need the given amount of water and you need your caustic soda. To mix this together, always put your water into the container first and then add the lye on top. Never the other way around. If you add a little bit of water to lye, it is likely to spit and you may get spatter from it on you. During this mixing phase, you must have eye protection, gloves, and preferably long sleeves. You'll need a mixing spoon. I've got a wooden spoon as that doesn't tend to be affected by the lye. And bear in mind that the mixture will become quite hot, so you need a container that can withstand that and won't just melt. This particular container is plastic. I have used it previously without any problems. So we'll now go outside to mix the two, because when you mix lye into water, it will get very hot and give off a noxious fume that you want to avoid breathing in. So best done outside. If you're doing it inside, try and have an extractor fan on, and if need be, wear a mask just to avoid breathing in the fumes. So I'm now fully geared up with eye protection and gloves on. I'm now tipping the water into the bucket, remembering always put the water in first and then add the lye in second, never the other way around. Providing you follow these simple rules, you won't get into any difficulties. We'll now add the caustic soda or lye into the water and just stir it in. When you add it in, try to avoid dumping it or splashing. Just getting all the last little traces of the lye into the bucket. And as it dissolves, you may be able to possibly see steam rising from it. Yes. Continue stirring until the mixture is clear and avoid breathing in the fumes. The camera woman has had to take a few steps back because it was, as I said, quite noxious, the fumes, and you do not want to breathe them in if you can possibly help it. I'm not sure if the camera's picking up the fumes, but they are present, and the mixture is pretty much clear now. I'll use a digital thermometer just to get an idea of what the temperature is currently. So 186 degrees Celsius. Sorry, no, that's Fahrenheit. 185 degrees Fahrenheit. So fairly warm, too warm to put your finger in, not that you'd want to, because it is a very caustic solution and it would be extremely irritating to your skin. So now that it's clear, we want the temperature to drop to around 100 degrees and for the oil that is melting to be approximately the same temperature when you add the two together. So we'll take it back inside at this point and go and check what the temperature of the oil is. So the oil is nearly fully melted, just a couple of little spots to go. As soon as it's fully melted, we'll check the temperature again and recheck the temperature of the lye or the caustic soda. Once they've come to an approximately equal temperature, the two mixtures, then we will add the lye mixture into the slow cooker. Tosh the dog is taking some time out because soap making is not her interest.